All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is June 24th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here today. Hey, I want to congratulate everybody that made some profits today here in the room. Way to go. We had a nice trend day, and that is one of our strategies that we look for, and let me tell you, it paid off nicely today. Today I had my best day ever today, 64K. Wow, that's crazy. I still got profits I could take. I still see about another 3,000 there I could probably take, but I want to have something for tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. But thanks, CV. All right, let's go take a look at the market. Let's take a look at some charts. And let's take a look at, I also got some Intel calls that needed to be added. And where are those? There they are. There they are. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at some charts. Let's look at how I made 64K, okay? In order to understand how I made 64K, because it wasn't some of that, a big chunk of that was from my trading today. A lot of it was due to the ceasefire gap up that we had, bullish gap overnight. I got a lot of that from overnight. And a lot of that came from, I'm going to give myself a little credit, the map. All right, so let's go over the map first, all right? Because the map's really important because traders have been following my map now for about a whole month, and they're profiting off of my map. And here's what the map looks like, okay? So you can see price comes up. As we move into the supply zone, I mentioned in the room that there's a good chance we're not going to cut through the whole supply zone with a couple of 4-hour candles, okay? And I said, it's probably going to take 3-4 weeks to get through this supply zone because the supply zone was about 4 months wide, all right? So I expected consolidation, and then we got some tariffs. We got news of tariffs taken off, news of delayed tariffs, and a lot of that had helped contribute to the ups and downs here of the consolidation. And I mentioned is be some consolidation, and then we're likely to see price break out and consolidate again over prior consolidation. So a lot of that comes from just following my map here of the consolidation breakouts and being prepared. So where are we on the map? Get the arrows out here, get the golden arrow. Okay, so we went through all of this. Okay, and then yesterday, all right, not sure if you know it, yesterday we came, we came all the way down to 593 yesterday morning. Okay, and then if you remember, yesterday afternoon, we rallied up to 600, right? And then came ceasefire, excuse me, and then price rallied all the way back to 605, right there. So every time we get down to this low, all right, well, I stock up on calls, all right? Distant calls, like 56 days till expiration. You can see it, 30 days till expiration, 40 days, 2, 3, 4 week calls I was stocking up on every time we come down to the bottom of one of these valleys right here. So I was loading up because I really feel like price is going to be headed up towards 650. I really can foresee it. We'll see what happens. It's pure speculation, but I know this from watching price action multiple times, that what happens on one side of the market often happens on the other side of the market. So this is where we are today. We're up here. We didn't do the half back, and the half back may occur right here, and then we may rip. All right, I'm just saying that's probably likely to be the next move, is a pullback to support, hopefully through here. If not, we probably come all the way back down here and test this support area way down here one more time, put in another V, and then a half back rip out of there. We'll see what happens. All right, but a lot of my profits came from following my map. All right, a lot of it, almost all of it come from following my map and knowing that price is probably going to consolidate in this fashion. Okay, now I said I'm expecting consolidation over prior consolidation. That's a bullish environment. Okay, you can see these are the pink arrows that are left. Right here is the pullback with a rip up. We'll see where we go tomorrow. Again, don't expect price to move in a straight line. Sometimes it will. Expect it to waffle around on its journey between the two channels. Sometimes it's going to be fast. Sometimes it's going to be slow and deliberate. All right. So just when the valleys, you see the valleys and you see the turn happen on the 10-minute chart or the 5-minute chart, that's when I start to load up on my my distant calls. So I'm going to take all that off. And I'm going to take this down just for a second. And I'm going to show you where I was yesterday. Okay, this is where I closed last night. All right, so you can see this is all of the contracts that I had. Okay, I had 6,620 calls, okay, for a penny. All right, now when you sell 6,000 calls, all right, for, you know, for 7 cents or 8 cents, all right, and you bought them for a penny, I mean, you can make some monster profits doing that, okay? And so you can see here I had 22 of the 4 DTE calls, 2,100 of the 7 DTE calls, 300 of the 10 DTE calls, 20 of these 18, 20 of these 25 DTE, 20 of those. You can see I was well stocked for good news like tariffs, free trade agreements, and I was well stocked for good news to come out. All right, and you can see I was underwater. Okay, look at all of these positions. Most all of them are underwater. Okay, they're not green, they're red. All right, but I'm willing to hold through that for the good news. All right, so you can see every time it got down to the low, I'd add a little bit more to my positions right there. So that's how I made my money yesterday. Yesterday was an awesome day too. Yesterday was, you can see, almost 32K yesterday. Again, that's just me trading my pattern, all right, and me trading 10-minute downtrends under VWAP, trading 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. That's my basic trade, okay? I don't really differentiate or differ from it too far. I like a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP, and I like a 10-minute downtrend under VWAP. I especially like it when price and the trend are peeling away from VWAP and separating. So that's mainly how I make a lot of my profits. You can see there's 31K from yesterday. All right, so let's just look at SPY real quick here on another avenue here. Look at it on the 4-hour. Okay, so because I study price action kind of often, almost religiously, what happens on one side of the market often happens on the other side of the market, and I have a strong suspicion, hunch, or belief that price, let me see if I can find it here. I have it here somewhere. There it is. I just hit it, okay? that what happens on this side will happen up top as well. Now you can see, you know, the market bought the dip. Okay, they bought the dip. This is the dip. Okay, and just like us, they like a 2-for-1 risk reward. So this would be the one risk unit, and I'm being really conservative about this. Okay, you can see that tail down there. I'm not including that, and I'm not even including all of this up here, which really should be included. Okay, but you can. I'm just going to call it right from here down is one risk unit. Now, if we get one of my conservative risk units as a reward, this would be reward. This is what they get in reward for buying the risk unit, okay, which is from here down. Okay, that takes us up to 655. Okay, that's just one risk, one reward. Okay, now there's a possibility. All right, I'd be tickled if we just get 650. All right, there's a possibility we get 2 rewards for 1 risk. Okay, now it could happen. Okay, just think about it. Let's say we get peace in the Middle East or stability in the Middle East. All right, ending wars like ending Ukraine war, ending you know, the Israeli Iran conflict. That would help. Trade deals being completed and we get free trade. That would be a huge catalyst for the market. Okay, all of these things that are on the table that could happen to manifest this big peak over up here. We'll see what happens. Okay, but 2 risk units, and these are conservative too. Brings us up to 737.54. That's huge. That's huge. I mean, just up to 650 is huge. 737 would be huge. Now, I'll be tickled if we just get up to 620, 650. All right, we'll see what happens. Okay, but what usually happens on the south side happens on the north side. You can see that the market bought the dip. They're going to want a 2-for-1 risk reward. But we'll see what happens. Okay, we are not back up at the highs yet, but we are darn near. I think Judy said QQQ made a new all-time high today. All right, so that's awesome. All right, so there's SPY on the 4 hour. So I'm going to show you what I'm looking at and what I believe is in our near future. We'll see. All right, we'll see. Okay, so all of this was the consolidation zone over here. Okay, so all of this from, I'm going to box it off, okay? So this is all the consolidation that I said took place over 4 months, all right? So you're not going to cut through that in, you know, a couple of 4-hour candles. It's going to take you probably 4 weeks to get through this. And hence, here we are, and that's why I said a good chance we're going to consolidate and then consolidate over consolidation. Fuse didn't make a new, but they got close. They got 11 cents, right? Yeah, not yet, but about 11 cents. Okay, we got 8 minutes left. They might do the deal. We'll see. Thanks, Judy. All right, so here's price action right here. You got 4 months of consolidation: December, January, February, March. Okay, so you can see we're looking at probably 4 weeks of consolidation over consolidation. All right. Before we cut through this supply zone. All right, we need to cut through in order, before we start getting through this, we got to cut through this supply zone, and it's going to take us a while. Now, see how fast we moved up? That was easy. All right, this is going to take us a little while. What are the chances that SPY closes its gap up this week, please? Anything's possible. You know, Mel, anything's possible. You could get both sides in the conflict, the current conflict, could decide to escalate trading missiles. Anything can happen. Somebody could acquire, I don't know, something from another country that has nuclear capabilities and use that against the other person. Anything is possible. We'll see what happens. But right now we're bullish. Let's just stay with it while we're bullish. Anything can happen, all right? But we're bullish right now. Okay, so I don't know what the chances are. All right, all I know is we're acting really darn bullish right now. We're at 607.30. The next leg up is 608.15, and we seem to be headed in that direction right now. All right, so there's SPY. All right, and you can see price action is up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Now, my favorite trade, all right, is a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. All right, that's inside of a 2-hour uptrend. That's inside of a daily uptrend. That's inside of a weekly uptrend. Or you could have weekly candles that are moving up. Okay, either one. It's inside of a monthly uptrend, and all of that over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's this pink line right here. Okay, all that is a recipe for success. You're going to find your 10-minute trends go further, they go longer, and you're going to have a better, higher win rate with those 10-minute uptrends when you got that stack or that formula in place where you got the 10-minute uptrend inside the 2-hour, inside the daily uptrend, inside the the weekly, inside the monthly, and all of that's over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, especially when price is moving up. Okay, so we got a lot of bullish signals still. And don't forget inflation, all right? We had a lot of inflation recently, okay? So you know what inflation does. It sucks for the consumer because everything costs you more, but for businesses, it could be a blessing because let me just say what happens is you're selling the same goods and services for a higher price point. And when you got that, sound like Christopher Walken, a higher price point, and what happens is that brings in more revenue to the top line, and usually management got its act together. That means it brings more profits to the bottom line, and whenever companies earn more per share, they get an increase or a bump in the cost of their stock, and it causes it to go up. So you may not like inflation, but if you're an investor, you love it because it brings in more revenue. More revenue equals more profits. More profits means a higher price per share. That means it means growth in share price. So as an investor, you love it. As a consumer, you hate it. All right. So and there's a lot of products out there that have gone up due to inflation. All right. And if we get tariffs, well, that's going to be even more inflation. So that's going to cause even more profits to come in. So anything like that could happen and catapult price, like I said, up to 650, 723. We'll see what happens. All right. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So far, things have been working out. All right. And we'll just play it by ear and see what happens. Hopefully we can get some peace. That would be nice to stop the killing. That would be really, really nice. All right, so there's SPY. All right, so what do I like? I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. So this is what we had. 10-minute uptrend over VWAP right here. See this? That's what we traded today. Okay, you can stay in that. Okay, so notice between the hours of 11 and noon, this is our trend day setup. Okay, we have a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. This is the brown line. Between 11 and noon, we had a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. If you have that, 8 times out of 10, you're going to get a price that stays in that 10-minute uptrend almost till 2:30. Most of the time till 2:30. Unless, of course, it produces an exhaustion candle, then it won't do that. But we never produced an exhaustion candle. We just kept melting up. You don't want to get in front of these. Don't try to buy puts. Usually, 4 times out of 10, price will wind up closing at the end of the day near the high of the day. All right. So if you think you can short this because you think, oh, well, it's been 3 hours, they got to go down now. Doesn't usually happen, okay? So just be careful when you see this. Recognize this is a trend day, and you don't want to get in front of it. You don't want to short it. You really just want to buy every single dip you can, all right, up until 2:30 and then stop, all right, because after 2:30, anything, it's a wild card after 2:30, all right? You don't know what, it could be a one-eyed jack, could be anything, all right? So after 2:30, I don't usually buy anything. I kind of just let things play out. All right, so there's SPY. Nice trend day today. Nice, you can see 10-minute chart. Got the 3 on top of the 8, on top of the 17. All right, it's a 10-minute uptrend. It's over VWAP. That's a brown line. You can see price and the trend peeling away from VWAP. Okay, that's my favorite trade. That's where I make a lot of my profits are made from these 10-minute uptrends over VWAP right there. Okay. All right, so that's SPY, and that's how I make my profits. I do this day after day. Okay, just letting you know that that's my favorite trade. Do this day after day. Is that 10-minute uptrend? That's what I look for, time after time, in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon. After 2:30, it's a wild card. You know. So now we're getting a pullback. It's 4 o'clock. Game over. See. All right, so there's 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. We went over that. All right, so let's look at the close. All right, obviously into the close, we got a 10-minute downtrend. Okay, right here, 10-minute downtrend coming into the close. On the 2-hour chart, still got, you can see price. Let's just go to this one right here, and we'll hit the 2-hour. All right, and you can see right here, 2-hour. We have a 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. See, the 3 EMA is up on top of the 8 EMA. All right, that's bullish over that 17 EMA right there. Okay, all up over that. This is the rally high anchored VWAP. Okay, over that rally high. This is the high. We got a new high today, but that was the rally high until today happened. VWAP, and you can see right here on the chart, if I zoom out, here's a all-time high anchored VWAP right there. We haven't quite taken it out yet. We're coming close. All right, we got up to, I got to say, we probably got up to 607.50. Oh, we got up to 607.90. Look at that. Let me just see. 607.85. All right. And the target was 608.15. That's pretty darn close right there. All right. So there's SPY on the 2-hour uptrend. Daily chart. Obviously, higher high, higher low. Anytime you get a bullish gap up, hey, that's a clue, traders. Okay, you get a bullish gap up, that's a bullish clue. And the bears don't fill that gap before noon, that's a bullish clue, all right? That means bulls are in control, all right? You want to look for those 10-minute uptrends. Try to hold on to them as long as you can until that trend breaks, all right? Because you're in a bullish environment whenever you see price gap up, do a bullish gap up, and the bears fail to fill that gap, okay? That's a huge bullish clue whenever you get that. So you can see it gapped up over consolidation. See the consolidation here? Okay, so they gapped up over that 603 area. See that? Gapping up on top of that. That's huge. All right, so there's a daily chart. Okay, you're up in quadrant 4, obviously bullish. Bullish gap up, that's bullish. Over the trap, over the 17, that's bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, bullish. Uptrend, always bullish. And over the all-time high anchored VWAP, always bullish. You can see higher lows. There's a low, there's a higher low, and a higher high. So that makes us in an uptrend, and that's always bullish. And you can see the consolidation over prior consolidation. That's always a bullish clue or a bullish environment. And you see price move up and hold the higher ground. That's another bullish clue, bullish environment that I look for. And you can see we had all of that happening, all right? So we're in bull mode. I don't see any signs of the bears. Okay, did we have some pullback? Yes, we did. But I don't see any signs. This is really bullish all through here. So there's SPY. That's bullish. That's in an uptrend. So we'll see what happens here. Let's take a look at QQQ. All right, QQQ, same deal. Okay, no different. Oh, that would look close. Let me see what the high is. That's today's candle. The high is, yep, same thing, 540.70. Okay, that's 11 cents short of the all-time high, which is right there, 540.81. All right, so again, same as SPY, higher high, higher low, closing over the trap. That's bullish over the 17, bullish over the uptrend line, bullish over the all-time high anchored VWAP. This is bullish, okay? There's no doubt about it. Uptrend, higher lows. Obviously, you can see there's a high. They're making higher highs, obvious uptrend. That's always bullish. Again, you got the bullish gap up. That's the big clue right there to get bullish for the day. And you're up over, look at that. You're gapping up over the consolidation. Huge right there today for QQQ. Let's take a look at FNGB. Try it one more time. All right, something's just not working for me today. Did they change the ticker? Well, here's FNGU. It's back to FNGU again? All right, okay. Back to FNGU again. All right. Make up your mind. All right, back to FNGU. All right. Again, same as SPY and QQQ, gapping up over the consolidation. All right, bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. Okay, we're in bull mode. Okay, higher low, higher high over the trap, over the 17, up in quadrant 4, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, over the uptrend line, higher lows, higher highs, uptrend, all that, everything I just mentioned, all that's bullish. Okay, nothing bearish about this right now. Okay, that's all bullish. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Okay, same thing, higher low, higher high. Did not gap up over the consolidation, but it did get up there and challenge the consolidation high. That's good news. Okay, over the trap, over the 17, that's bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's bullish. Over the downtrend line, up here in quadrant 4, that's definitely bullish. Look at price move up and hold the higher ground. That is always bullish when you see that. Okay, normally price will go up and give it up. It will go up and then give it up. Okay, that's just neutral. All right, when you see it move up and hold the higher ground, that's bullish. Okay, that is a huge clue to look for when you're looking for a swing trade or a day trade, because you want to follow trend, and this is the bullish environment. Follow trend, and that's the trend is bullish by moving up and holding that higher ground. Okay, so there's Diamond Dow, price action up in quadrant 4. That's bullish. All right, higher lows, higher highs. That's an uptrend. I like that. All right, let's take a look at IWM. My wife got COVID, so we have not got COVID. All right, which, knocking on wood here. Okay, I don't have it yet, but she got COVID today. So, I don't know how long I'm going to last. All right, but it's not a severe one. It's really mild. So, it looks like it's going to be really mild and easy. So we'll see what happens here. My throat still feels kind of scratchy from the last thing I had. Okay, price consolidating over prior consolidation. That's bullish. Challenging the consolidation high. That's bullish. Higher low, higher high. Yeah, me too. Over the trap is bullish. Over the 17, bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's bullish. Up here in quadrant 3, not in the upper third, not in the lower third, so just still neutral right here. Thanks, Jim. So still neutral, but acting bullish. All right. See that? Hold the higher ground. That's bullish. All right. IWM possibly making a move up to the upper third. We'll see what happens. All right. Let's take a look at the technicals. Oh, we're in the overbought zone all day long. I kind of suspected that might happen this morning. If you watch this morning's video, you'll see I kind of suspected we'd be in the overbought zone. Here we are, spending the whole day in the overbought zone, making the bears uncomfortable. T21.23, bullish gap up over the 200 SMA. That's always bullish. Here's the high. You can see we made a new rally high up there. Okay, that's bullish, making higher highs. So that's an uptrend. You can see green from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. Nice work, T21.23, 15-minute chart, rising up to the next all-time high, prior all-time high right up here. Okay, so 3-bar chart, 3 more green candle bars right there, up over the 200 SMA. That's bullish, making here's a low. They made a higher low. There's a high. They made a higher high. That's in an uptrend. So that's bullish. Again, look at price structure. Move up, hold the higher ground, move up again, and then hold the higher ground. Consolidating over prior consolidation. That's bullish. T21.23. FNG, B, or U. Gap up. Bullish gap up. Look at this 15-minute chart. Big bullish clue. Over the 200 SMA. Always bullish when you're over that 200 SMA, as long as you're moving up. Green from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, up over VWAP. Love that. Breaking out to new rally highs. See that in FNGU? Up there, new rally highs. Maybe they start consolidating over this consolidation, okay? That can happen. Notice here's our last 2 banks of consolidation. We've got a bank of consolidation right through here, okay? And then we have again, this is where I say consolidation over prior consolidation. Got another bank of consolidation right through there. And maybe we could be starting a third one up here. We'll see. We'll see what happens, all right? So, again, this is bullish whenever you get consolidation over prior consolidation. Again, those bullish gap ups, those are that aren't filled by the bears. That shows you strength on the bullish side, weakness on the bear side. So remember those. Those are nice little clues to keep a hold of. Look at all these bullish gaps that haven't been filled by the bears. There's a lot of them here. Okay, price is looking good. All right, so the answer to your question, Mel, will price come back and fill the gap for today? I don't know. I'm going to say I don't know, because look at all these bullish gaps that haven't been filled in a long time, okay? So I just don't know. But just stick with the trend, all right? And we're bullish. The trend is bullish. The clues are bullish. The environment is bullish. Stay bullish till we're not, okay? That's going to be my trading plan. Stay bullish till you're not. Okay, so there's FNGU. Still, you can look at, let's take all that off of there. My nose is stuffed up. All right. Let's take a look at XLE. XLE, lower high, lower low. Closing under the trap, under the 17. That's bearish. Under downtrend line 1, but over downtrend line 2, so that's kind of neutral. Again, see, they tried to hold the higher ground, but they went up, and they see how they gave it up. They said, watch that. That is notorious for going up and giving it up. And they did. They gave it up. All right? So maybe they make a higher low and come back up and revisit it. We'll see what happens, okay? But right now, they went up and gave it up. All right, so far for XLE. So it's not in the lower third, and it's not in the upper third. So it's neither bullish nor bearish. So we're just neutral, but acting bullish. Okay, so we're neutral but acting bullish. Notice this bullish gap got filled by the bears yesterday or the day before. Right there, see that bullish gap up? Got filled by the bears. Okay, so whenever you see the bears filling those bullish gaps, you know they're in control. All right, so there's another clue for you. All right, when you're looking at price action, okay, not just one candle, look at what the candles are doing and how well they're doing it. That's from my friend Malcolm. All right, how well are they doing it? All right, there's XLE. Let's take a look at USO. All right, USO, bearish gap down. That's always bearish. Bulls didn't fill it. Lower high, lower low, closing under our trap, under the 17. That's bearish. Over the all-time high, over this 3-year high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. Again, they went up and see what they gave it up. All right, they were bullish. And they went up and they gave it up. So that's neutral. Again, they go down and you give it up. It's the same thing. That's just neutral. It doesn't matter if you go down and give it up or you go up and give it up. Okay, you're just neutral. Okay, you got to get up and hold that higher ground in order to get bullish. So they're no longer in the upper third, no longer in the low. They're not in the lower third. So we're just neutral through here. We are acting bullish. We are still in an uptrend, and we'll be in an uptrend till they take out this low, unless of course they make a higher low and then roll over and take it out. Okay, so there's USO still in an uptrend, but again, just neutral, going up and giving it up right there. And this could be a 50% pullback to the midpoint. A little bit short there. Okay. Yeah, a little bit short. All right. Yeah, a little bit too far. Okay. Let's take a look at UNG. Lower high in the lower third again, so that's bearish. Closing under the trap, under the 17, that's bearish. Over the uptrend line, that's neutral. In the lower third, so that's bearish. And under this really weak 12-month high anchored VWAP. Okay, so that's bearish down there. All right, still bearish. In an uptrend, but still bearish. All right, nothing spectacular happening in UNG. Okay, so you notice they went up and they gave it up. Okay, you got to watch that. You got to watch for price action when it goes up and it holds that higher ground. Okay, those are the ones you want. Those are the bullish ones. This one goes up, gives it up. That's just neutral. Let's take a look at gold and silver. So gold making a lower high and a lower low, closing over the all-time high anchored VWAP right there. That's bullish. Closing under the 17 and under the trap is bearish. Still consolidating, holding that higher ground. That's bullish. Up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Price action, still bullish up here. Still in an uptrend. Higher lows and higher highs. They haven't made a lower low yet. If they take out this low, they would make a lower low. They haven't done that yet. So they're still in an uptrend up here. They're still bullish. All right, SLV. Uptrend, okay, still in an uptrend, still holding quadrant 4, that's bullish. Closing over the 17 is bullish, but under the trap is bearish. Over this 12-year high anchored VWAP right there, this 6-month high doubles as a 12-year high. Still in an uptrend, higher lows, higher highs, consolidating up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Okay, silver's still bullish. Still in an uptrend. Still looking good. All right. You know what I like? I like that tail. That's a nice looking tail right there. Okay, that's bullish. When you see a big tail, tail is more than the body and wick combined. All right, that's bullish. All right, that's bullish control right there. SLV. Let's take a look at SMH. SMH, look at the breakout of consolidation right there. Okay, so quadrant 4, that's bullish. Uptrend over the all-time high anchored VWAP, everything bullish. SMH. Yes, I will look at VRT, yes. And I want to look at Intel too. I want to point something out for Intel. I foresee a possible MMRP in Intel. We'll see what happens. All right, there's SMH, XLK. All right, XLK making a new all-time high today, okay? It doesn't get any better than that, okay? That's bullish, if you didn't know it. XLF. Pop up over the base like that. Up here in quadrant 4, it's bullish in an uptrend, making higher lows, higher highs. Look at them hold the higher ground up here in quadrant 4. That is bullish. Financials are bullish up over this all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, financials looking good. See what IYT looks like. IYT still holding this higher ground up here. Not in the upper third yet. You know what? I'm gonna give it to him. All right, so that's bullish finally for IYT. Hope they can hold the higher ground. Last time we were up over the all-time high anchored VWAP, we gave it up here and here. Maybe we can hold on to it this time. You can see price action, bullish in the upper third, in an uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs. So that's an uptrend. And holding the higher ground, that's bullish. In the upper third's bullish. And still in an uptrend, okay? And over that all-time high anchored VWAP, that's bullish. So IYT finally bullish. I hope it can last more than one day, though. Okay, so there's IYT on the daily chart. All right, we got some. I want to point out one chart in Intel, and I want to look at it on 2-hour candle. Okay, and you can see price structure. Let's look at not quite that one. Let's try this one. Okay, so we got some resistance right about through here. Okay, you can see where price goes up. All right, and we break through resistance. So look for this. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3. Look for a 3-candle pause, pull back, and then J hook off of this $22 area. Okay, look for that to manifest, and that would be a MMRP right here on Intel. Watch for that possibly manifest off the 22, off the 2175 area. Anyways, somewhere off of here, look for the price to J hook out of there, and you could probably see a bullish MMRP right there. I will keep you updated what I see in that. All right, I don't see anything yet. We're still, this is the igniting, the change in direction, and now we got pause, and now we need pullback. We need pullback to test the support, or actually the resistance area we just broke through. All right, so I'll be looking for pullback. All right, like a 3-candle pullback or a 3-candle pause, or the pause and pullback combined, 3 candles, 3 2-hour candles, and then look for price to J hook out of here. Maybe up to 23, maybe up to 23.50. We'll see. Watch Intel for the MMRP. VRT. All right, on the daily chart. Okay, so peak between 2 valleys right there. Always a target. And we are above it. I love that. Okay. Like that, you're on support. You're looking good. I like the idea that you're on top of support. Next resistance area is probably going to be right up there. Okay, that would be my next target, right about 131.08. Right up, maybe a little bit lower, right about there. Maybe about 120, 128, around 128. All right, that's next target up. Hey, this is looking fantastic. Okay, you're closing up over the trap. That's bullish. Over the 17, that's bullish. You got a nice daily uptrend. That's bullish. This got a low here, got a higher low, so that's bullish. You got a high here, you got a higher here, higher high there. That's bullish. VRT's looking good. All right, you're right up in this zone right here. I like that you held the ground over the resistance. That's looking fantastic right Yeah, right up there. That's looking fantastic, Robert. Next stop is this 127.30, 127.50 up to 128. That's your next target. And then guess what happens after that? You start filling the gap over here to the left. Okay, you've got a big gap that's open. All right, so here's that break, that candle peak right there. That would be my next target. Then after that, they might even shoot right through that and just start filling gap right up there. So this is looking fantastic, Robert. I don't see any bearish signs in sight. Like to see some more bullish gap up. See, here's a bullish gap up that wasn't filled by the bears. There's another one. These are all bullish clues, by the way, traders. See this? Bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. Another one. Another one. There's another one. Hey, maybe they can get one more. Maybe they can fit two more in here. We'll see. All right, so there's BRT. That's looking fantastic, Robert. That's bullish. All right, and I like that you're up over, you're on support now, and you're holding the higher ground, and you're consolidating over a prior consolidation. This is looking fantastic. You get up over that peak, you start filling that gap up there, up to 150. Okay, that's going to look nice. I like it. Okay, traders, I'm about out of breath. All right, it's been about 60 minutes. I'm going to call it a day. I'll see you guys all tomorrow at 8 o'clock. All right. I want to thank everybody for hanging out. Got two more. Looking at CRDO and SGHC. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to look at these last two. All right. With Robert, CRDO. Oh, that's fantastic. That's looking a little bit exhaustive in nature, kind of vertical there. Is that that's an all-time high too? Right there. Nice. That's really nice. That's fantastic. If you're in that, really nice. I shoot for 100. That 100 number is probably going to be their target. That's looking fantastic. SGHC. Another one. No, we got a little price action over to the left. And you got some resistance up there at 1021. Okay, a little bit of resistance at 1021. Well, you're not far from it. All right, 999. Holding the higher ground for 5 days. That's fantastic right there. Look at this breakout coming in. All right, look for that to break out. You'll be up there. 1021. Yeah, you should be up there tomorrow. By tomorrow or the next day. That's looking fantastic as well. Like the higher lows, the higher highs. That's fantastic. Look at that uptrend over the 17 EMA. That's looking good. Both looking great. Thanks, Gene. Thanks, Scott, Robert, Brad, Jim, everybody. Thank you so much. See you guys all tomorrow, 8 o'clock in the morning. Let's do it again. All right? Let's do it again. Happy for everybody. Congrats, everybody. Hey, thanks, Brad. Congrats to everybody that made some profits today. You make me proud. Again, I can make profits, but it's more important to see you guys make profits. All right? Because that's where it really counts. Because if I'm going to get more people, they want to see that the people in the room can make profits. So thanks for sharing that with me. All right, see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Everybody have a beautiful evening.